Focal length. What is focal length in photography? You may have heard the way that photographers speak to each other, such as, what lens is that you got? Oh, it's an 18mm to 55mm f1.8 lens. Well, the millimeter side of things represents a focal length. So what is focal length? Basically, have a look at this lens. Okay, this is a standard 18mm to 55mm lens. So what does the millimeters mean? Well, if we have a look through this lens when it's on 18mm, this is what we'll see. This is the scene what we can see through the lens at 18mm. As you can see, it's a pretty wide scene. Now, if we zoom into the 55mm setting, this is now what we see through the lens. As you can see, it's a lot narrower and it's not as wide as what the 18mm is. So you should have worked out already that the lower the number, the wider the scene, and the higher the number, the more zoomed into the scene it is that you are. So for example, if that's the 18mm to 55mm lens, then let's have a look at the 70mm to 500mm lens. So when we look through a 70mm lens, this is what we would typically see. Now this is 70mm. So we want to zoom into the guy in the distance. So that means we would adjust the lens all the way up to 500mm. When we do that, we can see now that we have zoomed in and the guy is a lot more closer to us now. That's because a higher millimeter represents a longer zoom. So you understand, guys, now how millimeters with regards to focal length does work in photography. So let's have a look at that again. One more example, okay? 18mm looks like this. 55mm looks like this. Because 70mm is longer, that means we've got to move back from the subject in order to get the subject in shot. So we've moved back, so this is 70mm. We want to zoom in, we go to 500mm. So there you go, guys. That is basically how, focal length does work in photography. Remember, one last time, and a small millimeter represents a wider shot, and a higher millimeter number represents a more zoomed in shot.